Yahya Black is a bully of an athlete who has a huge opportunity for the Pittsburgh Steelers this year. At 6'5" and well over 330 pounds, he doesn't just meet blockers, he moves them. He possesses devastating long arms that give him the ability to maintain leverage, preventing opponents from even putting hands on him and allowing him to control them. And these skills were evident during his college days. He was not the most sought-after prospect, but sometimes when you reach that next level, it can help a player kick their performance up a notch. And so far, this player has been nothing but impressive. Black's versatility allows him to play nose tackle and multiple technique positions, the 1, the 4, and the 5, which is crucial for this defense. Playing alongside elite rushers like TJ Watt, Nick Herbig, and Alex Highsmith in the front 7 makes his job considerably easier. So let's break this player down and see what he can potentially bring to this defense in the regular season. So on this play here, one of the things I like about Yahya Black is his toughness in the trenches. He gets his hands inside of the left guard quickly, bench presses him like a sled, and shocks him right off of the snap. He disengages on time, squares up, and lays a body on the runner before he has a chance to get going. And that is leverage, strength, and discipline all in one rep. Classic Steeler football right here. So we'll go ahead and split it. So locking on this play here, just studying Yahya Black. You love the size when it comes down to this athlete, getting his hands inside and shocking him right where he stood. And usually when you're going up against a player with 35-inch arms, with these guards and centers, they do not have that kind of length. So this is an advantage that he has been using throughout college, and he's already showing this at the next level. So that guard was completely off balance, and Yahya Black quickly disengages and gets to the runner. And by watching this player's film coming out of college, he was making some plays from time to time, but sometimes when you get to that next level, it can absolutely bring the best out of you. And to see a player that can be physically imposing like this early on, he will have his challenges at the next level, but showing that you can consistently do this in the preseason games really says a lot about this player. And having this player with the ability to play the 1 technique position, he can play 4 or the 5 technique position. This is how coaches can get this player in position and get really creative on Sundays. And honestly, by watching film of a lot of NFL teams, I have not seen a defensive tackle be this dominant, so hats off to the scouting department. But when you're playing against a player like him, technique is very important. If he can be able to get you where he wants you, there's a chance that the opposing player will not be able to recover. So great rep right here, disengaging from that guard, getting to the running back, and setting the tone. Here's a play that I really like from Yaya, extending those long arms out again and stressing out the offensive lineman. His reach lands first, locks out, and the blocker never gets a clean grip. And this is why scouts chase guys like this. And like we've said before, you cannot teach length and aggression. It's either you got it or you don't. So let's run it. So locking on this play here, you can see Yaya's lined up outside that guard. He's engaging in contact and getting those hands inside again. And as you can see right here, these are the things that we have to pay attention to, Steelers family. Long arms and those vice grips. And usually when you do have a player that's jacked up like that, you're going to lose balance. And just like the first play, you will not have a chance to be able to recover. So he torques his body, gets low. They always say the lowest man wins in football, and gets to the running back again. And this is what they brought this guy in here for. When you're playing with guys like Herbig, TJ Watt, Harmon, I'm wishing him a speedy recovery, but this is how you can be able to take that next step in the most important games. Because when you're playing against those big time teams in the AFC, they love to be able to run the ball, and stopping plays like this can close half of their playbook. And as far as his athleticism, he's not the most snappy type of athlete. He is one of those football players that love to set the tone early on. So if he's playing that 1, the 4, or the 5 technique, he's the same bully and he has the same finish. So this ended up being another dominating rep by Yahya here. Here's a rep where Yahya Black uses his signature pin pull technique. He pins the guard quickly, yanks him off balance, then snaps a clean swim move over the top. And with the guard, his hips are gone with no recovery, and Black closes in for the sack. He's not the most savvy when it comes down to hand combos, but when the timing hits like this, he definitely gets there. So let's run it. So running this play here, you see he's lined up in that cock 1 technique position, clashing with that center, pulling, and giving him a nice swim move. And all it takes is half a second when it comes down to these defensive linemen at the next level. If you can find ways to be able to catch these guys off guard, you can quickly close in and get to the quarterback. And when he was in college in 2023, he had 51 tackles, 5 tackles for a loss, and 3.5 sacks, which was his best year. And he also had a solid year in 2024 as well. And as far as him being able to set that tone, he's been doing it in practice. In the preseason, he had 2 sacks and a forced fumble. And as far as these quarterbacks, interior pressure is the hardest thing to get around. You got your left ends and your right ends out there. They're premier pass rushers. But when you have a guy that can be able to penetrate the pocket and blow up these plays, it makes things difficult for the opposing offense. And he's not going to be one of those defensive tackles that's going to get a lot of sacks throughout a season. But if you can get a few of them, a lot of run stops, that is all you need when it comes down to Yahya Black. Simple plan, violent hands, complete finish. That is Pittsburgh energy right there. Here's a rep with a center and guard combo block on the play side. The left guard bails for the linebacker, leaving the center one-on-one with Black. And that was honestly a big mistake because the center never established inside hand position while Black's hands were already inside. Black was able to long arm him out the gap, then disengage to meet the running back square on. And this is exactly how you punish a premature peel. So let's run it. So locking on this play here, you see that center and guard, they both attack Yahya Black. The left guard peels off to that linebacker, and that was the big mistake right there because that center never had a chance to be able to get his hands on him. And you could just see with the arm movement when it comes down to these offensive linemen, it's so hard to be able to get a hold of this guy. And that is honestly a length thing. It doesn't matter if he's playing against second stringers or third stringers on the offensive line. I believe it will be the same thing once he gets to the regular season. It's almost like beating a dead horse when it comes down to him because a lot of these plays look the same, but it's good to be able to break this stuff down on film. And playing that defensive tackle position, if you can be that space eater, it will allow those linebackers to scrape and roam from sideline to sideline and get busy. And I've always said that with defensive tackles, with running backs, you can draft those guys in the 4th, the 5th, or sometimes undrafted and find hidden gems. He still got to go out there and prove it, but he is definitely off to a great start. But one bad peel from the guard, and he completely slams the door. One thing about Yahya Black is his determination to make an impact. At 330 pounds, he uses his size wisely by targeting an opponent's shoulders and leaning into it. On this play here, he hits the inside part of the blocker, gets his hands in perfect position, and keeps his body low for a powerful bull rush straight through the chest. And he puts his weight down and drives the guard backward with the guard's arms looking helpless. And as an offensive lineman going up against him, if those arms are not in the right spot, he has the ability to quickly put you on the highlight reel. And this ended up being a missed sack by him, but it's always good to generate pressure on the quarterback. So let's run it. So running this play here, he's lined up outside that tackle in a 5, forcing his weight inside, and take a look at that offensive lineman's arms. It's literally like beating a dead horse when it comes to him, but just watching these offensive linemen look helpless and cannot get themselves into position. And it's so good to be able to see that he has a full understanding of leverage. When you can be able to lean all that weight down like that, it gives this type of player the advantage. And it looked as though he was going to get the sack on this play. One of the things that he does need to work on that I've seen on film is finishing plays. And this does date back to college. And you can just see that he was upset about this one because that was a missed opportunity. But you want to keep your head held high because somebody was there to make that play. And one of the things that I really like about Yahya, he's a leader on and off the field, down in and down out. He is willing to give his all. And with Derek Harmon having that knee injury, this is going to be a huge opportunity for Yahya because he is going to see some snaps early and often. There will be a heavy rotation, but he will get his burn on the field. So in this final play here, when it comes down to scouts and coaches, you want players to go out there and play to the whistle and give good effort regardless of what quarter it is. It is extremely important. And with Yahya, he lines up and clashes with the offensive lineman, quickly releases from him, and closes in to stop the running back. And this is the kind of energy here that is needed for the defensive line. So let's spin it. So running this play here, you see that he's going up against 73. I had to watch film on this player throughout the entire preseason just to get a good idea of what this player can potentially do. So you see he's fighting it out with that center, running out in space, and tracking down ETN. And there are a lot of players in the NFL, you do not see this hustle like this. So it's good to see on film that he is playing to the whistle. And there will be challenges. When you're going up against these first-team offensive linemen, it won't be easy, but I think that this player has that dog mentality to get it done. But he's going to have to lock in and get this thing rolling. But this entire preseason has been one heck of a start for sure. So it's going to be good to see how it all plays out with this entire defense. With guys like TJ Watt, Nick Herbig, Jalen Ramsey, the list goes on and on of the talent that this defense has. But they're going to have to stack it all together. It's not always about the talent on the field, but can you be a team that can lock in and build that chemistry? But it all starts up front on that defensive line, and having a player like Yahya Black is going to make this defense that much more better. But he's going to have to prove it on Sundays. So comment below and let me know what you guys think about Yahya Black and who else do y'all want to see me break down just like this video. So make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe and hit that notification bell because the way the YouTube algorithm works, if you don't hit it, you'll miss on fire updates and the best football film sessions on YouTube. All right, Steelers family, talk to y'all soon. Gone.